Okay, so good to have you guys. Today we're gonna work with seriously? No, we're not gonna work with this thing. What's this thing anyway? This 4x4 Rubik's Cube. Oh, okay, we're not gonna work with this thing. Alright, so in today's tutorial what we're going to do is we're gonna try to work with text in Pygame. So how do you work with text in Pygame? The first thing you have to do is you have to create what we call a text object. And then the second thing you have to do is you have to render the text sort of like as an image, and then you can blit that on your screen. Remember guys what we said about blitting. To blit is sort of like to transfer something onto something. So we are sort of like taking a block of text and then transferring it onto our main screen. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. So don't touch that dial. Let's get into our code, okay? Okay, so in this short video, I'm going to show you how you can work with text in Pygame. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is if you're working with a module like the font module, you need to initialize it first. Okay, you will see why it's important to initialize the font module. You could actually initialize it in two ways. The first way could be pygame .init. Alright, so this kind of initializes everything, okay, all the modules, but this is not what I want. I don't want to initialize everything. I don't want to, waste my resources. So I'll initialize the font module only. So I have to write pygame.font .init. All right, so initializing it enables me to access methods and be able to work with the font module. Okay, so I can actually take you to the documentation if you want to check out the methods and how you can actually work with the font module. You have to go to pygame.org and then click on the font. All right, so this gives you access to the method that you can actually use to work with the font module. All right, so the method that I'm going to use today are just a few ones. I'm going to use get fonts and this system font, and also I'm going to use the render method. Okay, so what we're going to do first initially is we're going to take this or tackle this in 3 steps. The first step that you have to do is, since Pygame does not allow you to directly write text on the screen or on your surface, the first thing you have to do is you actually have to create an object, okay, a font object. So how do you create a font object? You only create a font object using the method system font. So I'll write here my font. This is the object that I'm creating, and then equals to pygame dot font, since we're working with the font module, and then dot sys font, like this, capital letter S and capital letter F. Right, and then in here I'm going to pass in certain arguments. So here I have to pass in the name of the font that I want to use. So in this instance I want to work with Arial black, so I'll write Arial like this, and then it also allows you to pass in the size of the text. Okay, let's say I want it to be 30, and then there are also other optional arguments that you can pass here, but these are the 2 main arguments that you need to pass in. Right, so I'll just leave it here. Right, and then the next thing, the second step you want to do is you want to render the text, sort of like you're creating a surface, sort of like a text surface. So how do you do that? Okay, you create a text surface. Let's say text surface, the text underscore surface, like this is equal to my font, my underscore font dot render. We want to render this. And then when you render, the render method also takes arguments. Okay, so now we have to write the text that we want, okay, that we want to place on the surface. Right, so I can actually say I am on the surface. This is the text that we want to show. Right, and then after then we can pass in what we call anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing is just smoothing your text. Okay, so this anti-aliasing takes two values. It can either be true or false. So I'm going to say true here. True for anti-aliasing. And then the other argument that you want to pass in is the color of the text. Okay, so we have colors that we already made here in our script. So we're going to pass in green, or let me see which color could be more. Okay, let's say black. Right, let's say black. Black. Okay, black over here. All right, so we're done with this. There are some other extra, optional arguments that you can actually pass in, but we're not going to look at that. Okay, these are the main argument that you have to work with when you're rendering your text. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, the final step you need to do is you need to blit. You need to draw. Blitting is more like block transfer. You need to transfer this text surface onto the main surface now. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Right, so we have created a surface here by rendering, and now we can actually blit it on the main screen. So when we blit on the main screen, you guys remember you have to reference the main surface and then dot blit, and then in the blit we have to pass in what we want to blit on the main surface. We want to blit the text surface. So we say text surface here, and then we're going to set the position where we want to blit this text surface. We want to the X and Y coordinate. Okay, so let's say on 50-50, on position 50-50, on coordinate 50-50, 50X and 50Y. Okay, and then we can save these, and then we can run this. Okay, now I can run this. As you guys can see, this is 50 down, 50 X, 50 down, so I'm on the surface. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, so if I'm to change this to 150 and 150, you also see the text will move. Okay, Control B, and then the text is down here. This is 150 and 150. So these are the 3 steps that you can actually use to actually put some text on the surface. Okay, I hope this is clear and this is easy. There's also one method that I wanted to show you guys, which is the system fonts. If you want to get access to the system fonts that you have in your system, perhaps you don't know which font you want to use, and which fonts do you have in your system. So I can actually say my fonts, my underscore fonts, or I can just say fonts here is equal to Pygame dot font dot get fonts, get underscore fonts, like this. And then if I want to access this, I can use a for loop for X in fonts, not fonter. I want to print the X. Let's print X. Control save, Control B, and then close these. As you guys can see down here, after my script, after I quit my script, I have this code. I'd run this code, and I had access to all the fonts that I have in my system. So this is how you do it. So you might not know which font you want to use. I was using Arial, so you can actually choose any one of these. Okay, so if any of these is not found, for instance, then you have a fallback on. It falls back on the Pygame default fonts. Okay, so you don't have to worry about you can actually put more than one. Like you can say, if Tahoma is not found, please use Arial. If Arial is not found, please put that something else and stuff like that. You can actually put such a list of fonts in your arguments. All right, thank you for your time. I hope to see you in our next video. All right, bye bye.